NXT tonight. NXT was a phenomenal show tonight. We got Dakota and Raquel Gonzalez advancing to the so-called semi-finals. If I'm right. I don't know if I'm right or not. So they're advancing to the Dusty Cup finals. We got Austin Theory versus Leon Ruff. We got that to go over. We got Legado del Fantasma defeating Lucha House Party. MSK making their intentions known. And we got Pete Dunne calling out Finn Balor. Balor challenges him to an NXT title match at NXT TakeOver. Vengeance Day. Edge arrives on NXT. And then we got Kushida versus Johnny Gargano set for the North American title. Kushida versus Johnny Gargano for North American title set for Vengeance Day. And then we got Jessi Kamea with Robert Stonebrand versus Toni Storm. And we got Tomasso Ciampa and Timothy Thatcher defeating Undisputed Era to progress to the Dusty Cup semifinals. We have all that to go over right here on my Ingram Wrestling News YouTube channel. Ladies and gentlemen, I am Brendan. I'm Ingram Wrestling News' very own Brendan here, live with your February the 3rd, 2021 NXT review. So before we get started, be sure you hit that like, subscribe button, turn on that bell for all notifications. To never miss my Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War content, my Dragon Ball Z vs. 2 content, my Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm content that's on the channel. You know what I mean by Ultimate Ninja Storm. Obviously, Naruto Ultimate Ninja Storm 4. Also, to never miss my newest content that's coming to the channel this weekend, which happens to be Dragon Ball Fighter Z. Also, to never miss my Ingram Wrestling News videos that I drop almost every week. I kind of slowed down on that a little bit. But I am going to be dropping maybe 1 or 2 Ingram Wrestling News videos this week. I'll let you know on Twitter. Of course. Also, follow me on Twitter at Ingram Wrestling. Follow me on Twitch at Ingram Wrestling News. Help me get up to 1 million followers on Twitter by hitting that follow button on my Twitter account. Also, help me get up to 100 followers on Twitch by hitting that follow button on Twitch. If you want to see more content on Twitch, I suggest you follow me and subscribe to my Twitch channel for more content. Also, I am on the road to 1,000 subscribers on the channel. I am dangerously close to 200, so if you can help me get up to 1,000 subscribers by hitting that subscribe button, please and thank you. That would be nice. That would be appreciative. Hit that like button on the video. It helps the channel, helps the live stream, helps the videos, helps me. And we are going to go ahead and get started with the review here. Now, this week's NXT opens up with Kacy, Catanzaro and Kayden Carter versus Gonzalez making their way to the ring to kick off the next round of the Women's Dusty Classic. So again, they exchange reversals and holds with Catanzaro getting the better of it. Kayden tags in and teams with Kacy to hit a basement drop kick. So then Kai creates beer 1 count. Carter goes to the apron and kicks, but she goes to the apron and kicks Kai, but Gonzalez knocks her off and into the announce desk. And they head to commercial break with Kayden down on the floor, basically. So then they're back live, and Gonzalez is beating on Kayden in the corner. Kacy gets the tag, as does Dakota. And Catanzaro hits an Hurricane Roller, followed by a front flip leg drop. The action spills out of the ring, and Catanzaro climbs a steel garter by the announce desk and jumps onto Kai and Gonzalez. Kacy gets Kai back in the ring for a near fall. Gonzalez tags in and hits a tag team Pele kick with Kai and Kacy breaking the pin. So we got Carter jumping on the back of Gonzalez and batters her. Then knocks her onto the middle rope and tags Kacy, who hits a dropkick. Kacy then clobbers Gonzalez and goes up top to hit her new spiral dive finisher, but Kai breaks the pin. Kai then tosses Carter to the steel steps, and Gonzalez hits Kacy with one. He hits her with a one-handed power bomb for the win. And that was it. So I think a clear sign of how high NXT are on Raquel Gonzalez is how her and Dakota Kai's entrance has shifted focus from Kai to Gonzalez. No longer the afterthought, folks. No longer a method to evaluate Kai, now a star in the making. Now, Kayden Carter is one hell of a sleeper talent. Quietly become one of WWE's NXT's most unique, talented in-ring performers. This Dusty Cup has been great for getting eyes on both her and Kacy's immense talent. Now, a combination of Catanzaro's speed and great camera work made the huge outside splash look phenomenally believable. The heels didn't look like they were standing, waiting, but instead it looked like they got caught off guard. This was a fantastic opener to NXT, folks. What a phenomenal opening to the show. Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai are close to winning the Women's Dusty Rhodes Tag Team Classic. They're almost there. I think in the finals we're going to see Dakota Kai and Raquel Gonzalez versus Shotzi and Ember Moon. I think those are going to be the only two teams remaining. Either Kai and Raquel is going to win it next week, or it could very well be the team of Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart. Who knows? Hell, it might not even be booked next week. It might be booked the week after next. Well, this was a great match for Raquel Gonzalez and Dakota Kai to get over Kacy and Kayden. So it's very, very good. Very, very good opening. So anyways, Kai and Gonzalez have progressed to the finals of the Dusty Cup, and they will face the winners of Shotzi Blackheart and Ember Moon versus Candice LeRae and Indy Hartwell, which that'll be next week. Now, Toni Storm is backstage for an interview, and she's asked about having a triple threat at the upcoming NXT TakeOver Vengeance Day. Storm is Io Shirai. She says that Io Shirai has been untouchable since coming to NXT. Untouchable to everyone except her. Storm calls Mercedes Martinez dead weight and says she is on the top of her game. Rightfully so. Rightfully so, man. She's telling the truth. Can't complain. Can't shit on her for that. Can't complain. Her heel turn has been on the roll lately, man. And if you look back at Toni's heel turn, man, shit. She's been killing it on NXT lately. There's no doubt that this woman will be the next NXT Women's Champion. Sooner rather than later. Just not now. I think the next women's champion will probably be Mercedes Martinez. Io Shirai will probably drop it to Mercedes Martinez, or she will retain it. I can't see Toni Storm being women's champion yet. I could just say sooner rather than later, but not now. So, we got Austin Theory with Johnny Gargano at ringside versus Leon Ruff. My question to you all is, were you even interested in watching this match? Is this match interesting to you? It was, to me, I'll tell you now, to me it was quite interesting, and it wasn't really nothing bad happening in the match. Just a typical good TV match, in my opinion. So the match gets underway and Leon takes a headlock, but Theory throws him off and into the buckles. Ruff goes back to the headlock, but Theory throws him overhead. And Leon lands on his feet, basically. Ruff jumps and gets caught with a fall-away slam, but again lands on his feet. So then Ruff drop kicks Theory and hits a rolling kick to the face. Theory catches Ruff with a drop kick toe hold into the bottom turnbuckle. Now Theory powers Ruff into the corner and punishes him, then whips him hard to the opposite corner. Theory poses most muscular before, hitting a snap suplex for a 2 count. Sorry, I'm reading a little bit slow tonight. Just kind of tired a little bit. Theory chokes Ruff on the middle rope before clubbing him with a big hammer fist to the face. Trying to go faster here. Ruff starts to come back and knocks Theory to the corner. Ruff charges and gets tossed to the apron where Gargano tries to get involved but gets kicked in the face. Now that sounds like that hurts. Ruff goes up top and hits a missile dropkick. Gargano gets on the apron, but again Ruff drops him. Then Theory and Ruff hit shoulder tackles and Ruff bounces out of the ring. Cancer Ray and Indy Hartwell ran down to help Johnny, but Ember Moon and Shotzi Blackheart appear and brawl with them to the back. Gargano and Ruff get to their feet, and Ruff pulls a Eddie Guerrero, pretending Johnny Gargano hit him to get Gargano evicted from ringside. So Johnny Gargano basically hit Leon Ruff to get himself disqualified. Or actually to get himself ejected from ringside. It's almost like he didn't want to be there. It's almost like he was angry at Leon Ruff. I don't know. I'm just guessing, man. I'm just guessing, okay? Ruff gets back inside and hits a springboard cutter to Theory for a near fall, thanks to Theory getting a boot on the rope. Austin rolls outside and Ruff dives at him but gets caught and dumped into the barricade. Theory gets Ruff back inside and hits ATL to score the win over Ruff. And that was it. After the match, Theory makes to leave, but stops and comes back in to hit another ATL. Theory goes out and grabs the ring belt, but Dexter Lumis grabs him from behind and chokes him, but Austin escapes and runs away. Lumis caught a piece of Theory's hair. Ew. Okay. I don't think you wanted to hear all that. That sounds disgusting. Anyways. This match was fundamentally solid. Good babyface fire versus heel heat, however. Folks, I feel like the involvement of Lumis ended on a sore note. Lumis has been pretty cool. He's been pretty cold in NXT when not working comically with Cameron Grimes. I mean, even though I don't give a shit about Cameron Grimes, I'm just speaking my facts here. This will likely result in a tag match between Ruff and Lumis and Gargano in Theory, like they did with Ruff and Kushida versus Gargano in Theory. I'm not really excited and not interested in this. And the thought of Lumis as North American Champion fills me with dread. Honestly. I mean, even though he's doing the best work of his career. And don't get me wrong, he is doing the best work of his career, but Lumis is North American Champion? I don't know. At first I thought it'd be great, but now I'm kind of starting to question that now. I mean, it would look great on them, but still. It still kind of fills me with dreads. Seriously. It does. It really does, folks. It really does. No question about it. No shit. So, we see a cool video package explaining the journey of the woman who trained Xia Li and Boa. Apparently, she is thousands of years old. Oh my goodness. That sounds dangerous. Holy shit. Holy shit. Wow. This was an absolute great video package, man. Really, really great. Everything about this Xia Li storyline has been the best thing going on this show every week. Every Wednesday nights, this storyline has been the best thing going. And it continues and continues to be the greatest thing on the show, man. It continues to hype up the fans even more, to hype up the fans at home watching TV. It continues to hype up the podcasters in the community. It continues to hype up everybody, the journalists, the news reporters, the news people, everybody. Every wrestling YouTuber. It continues to hype up everybody around the world. This storyline. This storyline is going to go down as one of the best storylines that NXT has ever produced. Seriously. I really do think it is. It's gonna be up there. I'm telling you. It's gonna be up there as one of the best storylines that they've ever produced, man. I really do think it is. But everything about the Xia Li storyline has been phenomenal and amazing. Executed, man. Amazingly executed, bro. Seriously. Wow. I've been impressed with Xia Li in the Bold storyline since it started. I was impressed with it ever since it already started, man. Holy shit. That's how impressive this storyline is, man. I am interested to see what's next in this storyline. And I'm pretty sure Justin, my moderator Justin, would say the same. Now, we got the Dusty Rhodes Men's Tag Team Classic quarterfinal. We got Lucha House Party versus Legado del Fantasma. You know, Legado del Fantasma, known as the stable group of Rayo Mendoza and Joaquin Wild. Yeah. Joaquin Wild. This was a very good. I'm just gonna say it was a very good lucha match. Oh man, I don't know if I want to say that. All I gotta say is this was a good tag team match. This is a typical tag team match you would want to sit back and eat popcorn to watch. I mean, it wasn't bad. I can't shit on these guys for what they do in the ring. I can't. I just can't do it. These guys are good. I'd never shit on Fantasma though. These guys are doing really, really good. Santos Escobar has been impressive as Cruiserweight Champion, but I can't understand why they have Cross feuding with him when knowing Cross is not a Cruiserweight. I don't understand that. It's not making sense. It ain't making sense. It doesn't make sense. It don't make sense. Seriously. I said that so many times. So many times that I'm telling the truth, man. It just doesn't. It just doesn't feel right. Cross feuding with Escobar not only doesn't make sense, it doesn't feel okay. It doesn't feel right. Cross should be in line to challenge Finn Balor for the NXT title. If you think, those of you buffoons in the community think for 1 second that Edge is going to challenge Finn Balor for the WWE NXT title, you gotta be a straight up blithering idiot. It's not happening. It's not happening. Edge is not challenging Finn Balor for that title. You know who Edge is going for? Drew McIntyre. Hello. Ding dong. Open your ears and eyes, folks. To you Edge geeks that think Edge is going to challenge Finn Balor, no, he's not. It ain't happening. That's not how it should go. Reigns versus Bryan, Edge versus Drew McIntyre legitimately makes sense. It's better than Edge versus Reigns and Goldberg versus Reigns, I tell you that much. And it's definitely better than Randy Orton versus Goldberg. Oh, hell yeah. It's definitely better than those matches. It's even better than Drew McIntyre versus Tyson Fury. Reigns and Bryan versus Edge and McIntyre is the way to go about it for WrestleMania 37. I've said that on my Royal Rumble review. I've said that. And I can't believe I'm saying it again because Edge was on the show last night. Speaking of Edge, later on, I'm actually going to go over the news on the Ringside News article on what's next for Edge. I got some news on that. Speaking of Edge, I'm going to go over that later on in the review here. So, we got Lucha House Party versus Legado and Fantasma. The match begins with Gran Metalik and Rael Mendoza. Metalik overwhelms Mendoza early on with speed and high flying and tags. Lance Dorado, who does the same. Mendoza forces Dorado to the corner and tags Wild in. He tags Wildy in so they can double team him basically. Fantasma slow the pace of the match and keep Dorado isolated in their corner. So then Metalik eventually gets the tag. It hits Mendoza with a springboard crossbody, then jumps up to the opposite corner. But Mendoza clocks him with a running kick, and he falls to the floor. Wild then runs along the apron and dives through the turnbuckles with a suicide dive to Metalik, slamming him into the barricade. So we're back live, and Metalik hits Mendoza with a sunset flip powerbomb off the top rope, and both men are down. Tags to Wild, and Lance and Dorado runs Wild with drop kicks and punches. Tilt-a-whirl arm drag from Dorado is followed by a running drop kick in the corner, but nobody's home. Dorado hits a crossbody for a 2 count. Metalik comes in, but Wild hits them both with an incredible double springboard DDT for a near fall. Mendoza gets the tag and looks for a springboard, but gets dropped on the top rope and hangs there. Metalik hits a springboard Hurricane Rana that shoots Mendoza off the top rope onto Wild on the floor. Lance follows up with a moonsault to both Fantasma on the floor. Dorado gets Wild inside for a Hurricane Rana, but Mendoza blind tags in and clocks Dorado with a running kick for the win. Wild and Mendoza are now in the semifinals, where they will face the exciting new team of MSK. You know, the guys from Impact Wrestling. Yeah, them. Speaking of who, MSK came out to the stage and congratulate Fantasma. They say Fantasma are in the way of their meteoric rise, and they need to train hard for next week. Wasn't too bad of a tag team match. I mean, really, to be honest, to be real with you all, this was a very fun, uniquely Lucha Libre match. I said Lucha match. I did say that. Earlier, I said Lucha match. I said that right in the review, right in the open. Sort of. Not right in the beginning, but right in the open. You know what I mean by right in the open. I said it right before I read to y'all what happened with this match last night on NXT. But seriously, very fun, uniquely Lucha Libre match that you would only get on WWE NXT, unfortunately. But Lance appeared to clutch his head consistently after seemingly striking it with forces off the corner of the announce table. I don't know if you all noticed that or not. But Legado del Fantasma versus MSK could be a very, very fun and a showcase of light heavyweight wrestling style that development and rose to prominence in North America from the origins of Mexico's Lucha Libre style. At least that's what I think anyway. I don't know who else agrees with me on that, but you should, because it has the potential to being one of the best tag team matches on that show, on next week's show. If it's booked next week, of course, which probably is. Might be booked for the week after next. So anyways, moving on to the next, folks. So we got Pete Dunne, Larkin, and Birch making their way to the ring. Dunne, in fact, gets on the horn and says he told Finn he wasn't waiting any longer. You could tell Pete Dunne's a heel by saying that. You can tell he's acting like a heel. Pete's doing really good with his heel character though. He's doing the best work of his career, I must say. Which proves that Pete Dunne is good as a face and a heel. He can do it both. He can do both. So Finn Balor doesn't listen to Pete apparently. So last week he delivered the message again and snapped his fingers. Dunne says, "Don't force me to make it any clearer." The WWE NXT champion, Finn Balor, comes out and walks down the ramp with a mic. Finn says Dunne is hiding behind two clowns, but Dunne denies it. So yeah, Dunne basically denies it, folks. Dunne tells Larkin and Birch to leave them alone. It feels good to be in NXT. He says NXT puts the focus on the wrestling in WWE for years. He watched NXT as a fan, and he saw the passion and hunger of the stars. He says NXT helped him rekindle his love and passion of wrestling, passion he used to come back and win the Royal Rumble, which allows him to challenge any champion he wants. Edge looks at Balor and Dunne, and he sees two of the best. Edge says he sees a lot of himself in Pete Dunne. The good and the bad. Dunne shrugs, and Edge says he would have done the same 10 years ago. Edge turns to Balor and says he's operating at a different level. He's on that's a joy to watch. So he'll be watching the TakeOver match. And the NXT Championship is the one he's never held. Edge says no matter who wins their match, the NXT Championship is intriguing. And if he hasn't made up his mind by then, their match might help him choose. Oh man, that's funny coming from a guy who's a member of the writing team. Just saying, just throwing it out there. I mean, honestly, Folks, again, Edge is not challenging Finn Balor. I mean, I don't know why everybody on social media is saying Edge versus Roman Reigns should happen at WrestleMania. Da 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 da, this and that. Folks, listen. Edge versus Reigns legitimately, creatively makes no sense. Why would you want a spear versus a spear? That's worse than fucking Goldberg versus Roman Reigns. Jeez, man. It just doesn't make sense. I think Daniel Bryan versus Reigns makes more sense. I think Edge versus Drew McIntyre makes more sense. It's a new WrestleMania caliber match. It's a fresh new match. Something that has the potential of stealing the show. It legitimately makes sense. It's creative. It's entertaining. It's real wrestling. Sports entertainment. I just don't see Edge versus Roman Reigns being booked at WrestleMania 37. I don't want it to be booked because it would make the card for WrestleMania 37 look like a complete mess. It really would. But anyways, what an Argent line rush this segment was, folks. Now, honestly, start to finish, full of intensity and dream match moments. Firstly, Balor vs. Dunn is a phenomenal main event for any takeover show, added in the tease of Edge versus the winner at WrestleMania. And you have a phenomenal segment. Now, we all think that we know Edge isn't facing Balor or Dunn for the NXT Championship at WrestleMania. Now, for the duration of this promo, Edge made a lot of people believe he might, and that's the sign of a great promo. Now, he didn't make me believe. I knew he wasn't. I knew he's not challenging Edge. I know he's not challenging Finn Balor. I know he's not. I think the person he should challenge is McIntyre. Give him McIntyre, WWE. Edge versus Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship at WrestleMania 37. Book it. It makes sense. I don't even know. Well, you know what? Appearance is going to somehow defeat AEW in the viewership this week. Well, I'm going to go ahead and go on a note and say Edge's appearance is not enough to defeat AEW in the viewership. I don't think. I mean, some people have said Edge is a ratings draw, and some said he's not. I'm sorry. Don't get me wrong. I respect Edge. I have so much respect for him. He is one of the all-time greats. He's one of the greatest in-ring performers this generation has ever seen. But I just don't think he's a ratings draw for NXT. I just don't think. I think he just wasted his time appearing on NXT. I think it was just a waste. I don't think. I think WWE should have never had him appearing on NXT to begin with. I mean, we all know he's not challenging Finn. I mean, so we got Jessi Kamea with Robert Stone Brand versus Toni Storm. Now, obviously, before all that happened, Johnny Gargano was interviewed backstage and asked how he feels after Austin Theory's win tonight. That's what he said. He was asked about it. He says that Theory showed the way to win a match. Calls Lumis a freak. He then asked about Candice and Indy's semi-final match next week, and he says it's great because Candice is going to punch her ticket to the final. Lastly, Gargano is asked how he feels about facing Kushida at Vengeance Day. Folks, let me remind you, Vengeance Day, NXT Vengeance Day is on February the 4th. And I'm guessing it's going to be taking place in the NXT Capitol, I'm guessing. Same place that NXT's always been at during the pandemic. Now, so when he was asked about how he feels about facing Kushida at Vengeance Day, Johnny calls her a liar and says she doesn't even work for NXT. He takes her to see Royal Rumble and get her fired. Damn. So we got a commercial break. Johnny Gargano takes the interviewer to Ringo's office, but Kushida answers the door. Kushida says Ringo is busy and Gargano punches him. They brawl around the hallway into a meeting room, and Kushida kicks Johnny's arm as he gets pulled away by officials. So we got Jessi Kamea with Robert Stone versus Toni Storm. In other words, she was with Robert Stone brand. What I'm trying to say. If you all can understand. So the match begins and they lock up with Storm getting the better of it and slamming Kamea into the ropes neck first. Storm kicks Kamea back and slams her for a 1 count. Storm takes the back, but Jessi elbows her and Kamea lifts and drops Storm on the top rope. Then kicks her in the gut. Kamea hits a running kick, but Mercedes Martinez comes into the ring and starts brawling with Storm. And it ends in no contest. I hate when I hate when fucking matches end in no contest. Shit pisses me off. Shit is complete fucking garbage when it ends in no contest. That's what I call creative garbage. Storm hits Mercedes with a German suplex as Io Shirai comes down to the ring. Io sits on the top rope and watches as they fight their way to the floor. Shirai then hits a moonsault to Storm and Martinez on the floor and gets back in to pose with her NXT Championship. And that was that. So, my comments on this, honestly, there was not too much in this match. But hopefully Mercedes Martinez is fine, and hey, technically Robert Stone brand got the win here. I mean, who really fucking cares? I don't think nobody in the community cares about the Robert Stone brand. I mean, some people care about the Robert Stone brand. Some Aaliyah fans, I'm not going to shit on the Aaliyah fans. I mean, if they care about Aaliyah, they care about Aaliyah. If they care about the Robert Stone brand, they care about the Robert Stone brand. I'm not going to fucking shit on them. I got no reason to shit on them. They got no problems with me, and I have no problems with them. So, there you go. Robert Stone brand better celebrate while they can, because WWE may be trying to fucking bury them and they're probably looking to try to put them at the bottom of the barrel again. So they better be grateful for this win that they got. They're lucky. Because if Mercedes Martinez or Toni Storm went in there, they probably lose. So we got Storm. We got Storm hitting Mercedes Martinez with German suplex as Io Shirai comes down to the ring. Io sits on the top rope and watches as they fight their way to the floor. Shirai then hits a moonsault to Storm, and Martinez on the floor gets back into pose with her NXT Championship. Curt Stallion cuts a promo from earlier today in which he says his match is the biggest opportunity of his life. All the hard work he's put in. And yeah, Escobar has been running, but he has him backed into a corner, and tonight's the night of the Stallion. So we had got Santos Escobar versus Curt Stallion. So the bell rings and Stallion goes Santos until they lock up. They struggle for control, but Escobar takes Curt down and stomps him over and over. Escobar takes a wrist lock and holds Stallion down on the mat. Stallion fights up, but Escobar whips him to the ropes and connects with a drop kick for a 2 count. The cameras cut